Good afternoon. We are here with Dr. JP today. How are you, sir?
Oh, fine.
Thanks for being in Bangalore today, campaigning for Lok Satta candidates. It's nice to see you be in Karnataka, Bangalore, spreading the Lok Satta message and the candidates. One of the things that we wanted to ask you today is about what is Lok Satta trying to convey to the voters in this election. There is always the talk about clean politics and honest politics and change of culture of politics, but there also seem to be other things that Lok Satta is saying, you are saying in this campaign. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Unquestionably, clean politics is necessary, but that's not the end that the people are looking for. The tragedy of India is not only is it dirty politics, corrupt politics, it's also incompetent politics. Otherwise, the power situation or the water situation in Bangalore city, or the industrial and economic growth or lack of it, or job creation or lack of it, and of course corruption, they would not be like this. So focusing on corruption alone is not right. We want clean government, but we want a government with a purpose. We elect a government to utilize our tax monies well and to see that the power we transfer to them in the form of our vote being used wisely in shaping policies and making laws. And if that part is ignored, then I think we're missing what is the purpose of democracy. And therefore, I believe that opportunities must be created for people. Every single child must have an opportunity to grow. And that's the reason why, despite rapid economic growth that we have seen for some years in this country, there is not enough of a consensus in the country, politically or among the population of the country, in favor of economic reforms, because they are not seeing what's there in it for them. Unless the poorest of the poor, no matter from where you come, whether urban, rural, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, upper caste, lower caste, unless each child can fulfill her true potential through education of quality accessible to them, then they are not part of the economic growth process. And it's almost like they were 500 years ago. And really, politics is about changing the human condition. And if that is not the main message that you convey, then you are failing the people and failing yourself.
So it's providing that chance to the kid from any background, whether it's an MLA's son or a MP's son-in-law or a rickshaw driver's son.
Absolutely.
Is that what this thinking around realizing the true potential of people is what attracted people like me to work with Lok Satta. As the MLA of Kukatpalli, what do you think you are able to achieve to realize the potential of people over there?
If I claimed that a great deal is achieved in fulfilling human potential, I would be inaccurate. But we are putting a system and an infrastructure and a set of institutions in place, slowly but steadily, in a hostile environment where the government and the political parties don't seem to care. For instance, more than 3,000 people were specially trained in Kukatpalli constituency alone, and the connecting link between the job creator and the unemployed person, that link is made, and therefore they are now gainfully employed. Similarly, some hundreds of people are now being trained for self-employment. Many of them are actually already getting incomes. And the third thing is the schools. I think we put a lot of emphasis on schools, not merely the physical infrastructure of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan and buildings and classrooms, but much more, the quality of education. Even recently, an NGO group, reputed NGO group, I think it's called Brain Capital, they have studied the schools, both government and private.
In Kukatpalli?
In Kukatpalli, plus other areas also, but primarily with focus on Kukatpalli. They came out with not a very surprising finding, but still a sad finding, because Lok Satta has been arguing for long that our children are being shortchanged. Indian kids are ranked 73rd out of 74 countries in the international survey at the age of 15. Again, the findings reveal themselves. Only 20% of the kids in schools, they are really up to the standard. If they're in 7th grade, for instance, they know something equivalent to 6th or 7th grade, only 20% of that. And it's a tragedy. And private schools are only marginally better, not significantly better. And we are now therefore putting a system in place. We've already talked to the government. We're putting a pilot project at least, because we have some solutions. There's no point merely articulating a problem without solutions. The first is the kind of evaluation you take up. Right now, there's no meaningful evaluation at all. If you don't measure outcomes, you don't get outcomes. The second is accountability mechanism. Do you have proper inspections, well-designed inspections and monitoring and accountability? And the third is putting the children and the parents in the center stage so that the community can actually take care. So we have to do a lot of things. We're now making that process begin. And hopefully if this works out, this can be a model for the whole state of Andhra Pradesh and maybe in some measure for many parts of the country also, because there are many groups that are doing outstanding work. We have to connect the dots and see that something really big happens in education in the country.
Yeah, bringing community into schools sounds like a really right way to go. You often said in campaign rallies, I noticed this time and last time you're here in Bangalore, that honesty has become, is just a minimum qualification. It's a minimum requirement, not a maximum qualification. So what is the maximum qualification?
No, because of our anger against politicians and disquiet about the many scams that came to be emerging every day in Karnataka state, in Andhra Pradesh and across the country, we are focusing only on corruption and honesty. Whereas the purpose of the government is much more than maintaining honesty. Honesty is the minimum requirement. The other day, one eminent jurist was mentioning that a former Chief Justice, he wore his honesty as a badge of honor and nothing else. Now, it's a very silly thing for a Chief Justice of a Supreme Court or a Judge of a Supreme Court or a Collector of a district or a Minister or a Chief Minister to say, I am honest, period. I don't want merely honesty. I want you to be able to deliver. So the challenge is, how do you make honest people actually deliver? Because honesty is taken as a badge of honor and nothing else is accompanying that. Some people are making a very dangerous assumption that dishonesty is required to have some amount of efficiency in delivery. What we have to establish is that honesty and competence in delivery must go together. And therefore, unless the delivery is a central part of our message and central part of our demand of the political system and the governance system, we'll be shortchanging ourselves. They're taking our money, they're taking our vote, we are transferring our power. We are not transferring our power only to see that these are all nice guys. We are trying to transfer this power and money to see that what we deserve as people and our children deserve, we get that in infrastructure, in education, in healthcare, in job creation, economic management, in laws, policies, and governance in general.
Having worked with some of the candidates in Bangalore and Karnataka, I think you put up the right candidates who not only are honest but are capable and have proven track record doing things. The one last thing I wanted to ask you is about the journey of Lok Satta in Karnataka. Unlike in Andhra Pradesh where it had years of movement and a lot of people involved in it, at one stage 6 lakh people were working towards reforms in Andhra Pradesh that later converted into party. In Karnataka, we've started around late 2009. We started contesting in the corporation and now we are in the big assembly elections. So when you look at Lok Satta's journey in Karnataka, what do you think? How the journey has been and what do you think?
I think this is a very exciting journey, particularly in Bangalore city, because the city in the Indian context is unlike any other city. It is a happening city, it's a city of the future, it's a truly cosmopolitan city, and the people genuinely want change, and the circumstances conspired in such a manner that people are disgusted with the two main parties on offer, both Congress and BJP. Congress at the national level and earlier in Karnataka, and BJP in recent past in Karnataka. They were both disappointed people on every count. They were not only grossly corrupt, they were also terribly incompetent. People are forgetting that. It's not merely that there is phenomenal corruption, of course there is, but there's also terrible mismanagement of our resources and delivery, and therefore things are really in a bad shape. And the third element in Karnataka is the right kind of people are now here. I don't think even in Andhra Pradesh we can claim that people of this quality are willing to lead and take a lot of risk and give their time and energy cheerfully. The kind of volunteer energy that we see all over Karnataka and in Bangalore in particular, the kind of leadership that has come forward, transcending the normal Indian barriers of caste, region, language, religion, etc., and people who are really successful people. What we are trying to tell the people of Bangalore and Karnataka is that we have here a combination, a superb combination of competence and integrity. The kind of people that came up during freedom struggle, the Gandhis and Ambedkars, the Nehrus and Patels and Maulana Azads and Mokshaguna Visvesvarayas, they were not merely honest people, they were incredibly honest and upright and very ethical, but they were also incredibly competent. They were the best the society could produce. We're forgetting that. Politics deserves the best to go there. We need to be led by the best, not by the incompetent fellows, not by people who have no other source of livelihood. These are very successful people, and I think this is a great opportunity when everything came together. Great leaders, wonderful volunteers, an environment which is totally cosmopolitan and an environment that can actually lead to better India, better Bangalore. And the two major parties which are our competitors completely bankrupt intellectually, morally, in terms of policies, in terms of philosophy, in terms of their practice. So I think this is an opportunity to really forge ahead and create a bigger base for new politics, clean politics and competent politics.
Let's hope Karnataka takes a step forward. Thank you, Dr. J.